Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in this morning. I thought about you yesterday when I was heading over to Special Olympics in the park. I don't know if you've ever been to that, but boy, what a great event.
It is a great event, and it's great to see that they bring in and use up all the ball fields. And just, I mean, if no one's ever been to special event or Special Olympics types events, you need to go to them, because it certainly is not what you anticipate when you go to, say, a high school track meet or a high school softball or baseball game.
No, the passion and the joy and the exuberance they show for the, I mean, that's the way we all need to approach life.
You're correct. We get a little bit too serious, take everything too serious all the time, and the participants that are participating in the Special Olympics, they really enjoy being out there and having some fun.
I follow the faribault team in one of the divisions. In their first game, somebody gets a walk and they're jumping up and down on the bench and cheering.
Yep.
How cool is that?
That's fun.
It was just awesome. And then in the championship game, I watched the championship game in that division, New Ulm playing the Mankato Elite team, and New Ulm just crushed them. 23-0 was the final score. They had a very good team, very athletic young men on that team, and ladies, because they're co-ed teams, you know. Anyway, this guy slides in from Mankato. They're well behind. He slides as hard as possible into second base. He's wearing shorts. Second baseman lands on his rear end. And what does he do? But the other player pops up and he offers his hand and helps him up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he was hurting because he limped off the field.
Yep.
He didn't think of himself in that moment. He thought of the other player.
And you see that a lot occasionally, where they'll have a track meet and somebody will trip and fall, and one of the other runners will stop and help them up where they could have actually ended up winning a race. But more important to help everybody out and be friendly.
Well, I've been there the last few years, but there really is a lot of inspiration there. A young man from New Ulm could not use his right hand, so he played first base. He caught the ball, the glove in his left hand. He would throw the glove into his right hand and then throw the ball with his left hand. And he was so quick at it, he ended up playing third base in the championship game.
Mm-hmm. Good for him.
And I thought to myself, I wonder if I have the perseverance, because it took a lot of practice for him to get good at that.
You bet, you bet.
Or would I have gotten frustrated or not even tried in the first place if I had no use of my right hand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, you gotta just have that drive and will to just keep going and keep trying to improve yourself.
But it really is a terrific event. I would invite everybody to pop out when it gets here next year, because
Right.
It's been here last several years.
It's been here a couple of years now, so I think this might be the third year that we've had that tournament here.
The Area 9-10 tournament. Well, anyway, the pool's got to be doing pretty good business because it's getting pretty warm.
Yeah, we and I don't have any stats for July here yet. I was not able to pull those up, but through June, we're at least several thousand people ahead of where we were last year for the month of June, which is good for us, because we've been on kind of a downward slide for the last few years, and it's nice to see us kind of stepping up and going forward again on that. So I don't know, July started out pretty well, and this past weekend had to have been pretty good with as warm and humid as it was, so that'll bring people in. So hopefully we kind of get ourselves back on track a little bit with some good swimming pool weather.
Refresh my memory. There's a new amenity out there or anything?
This year they added the water volleyball, so you can play some water volleyball out there this year. Last year we added the climbing walls, so those are the two newest ones. Unless you're going to count some trees, we added a couple of additional trees in there, which they're young now, but we'll have some good shade spots out there down the road somewhere then too.
Just a terrific facility.
Oh, it's hard to believe that we are already in year 14, I believe it is, here this year. So hard to believe it's been that long that facility's been here, and it's such a wonderful amenity, and it's really holding up really well. Even though you see us putting a little bit of money into it, that's the way facilities are, but it has held up really, really well. We've had nothing major go wrong with that facility in all these years, so it's been great. It's a great amenity to have for the community. Draws people in from other towns. It's good for everybody.
You can knock on wood if you'd like. Hey, sure enough, you start bringing something up, something happens. That happened yesterday at the Special Olympics. Clouds were above, and it was a nice cool breeze. Let's get our open market report on their website, northlandbuildings.com. Paul Podonsky is in charge of the Buckham Center, Parks and Recreation Department. Very busy guy. and he took time out of his busy schedule to be with us this morning, and we really appreciate it, Paul.
We appreciate the opportunity to come in and get to talk about our programs and facilities. We just think we've got some really nice programs and facilities to serve the community with, and we love the chance to come in and sit and talk about them and brag about some of the stuff that we've got going on.
I had someone approach me from New Ulm yesterday when I was over at the Special Olympics softball tournament and just marvel at our facilities here,
Yep.
the softball.
The softball
complex.
facilities are really nice, and I think that's evident in the fact that our adult softball association has been able to bring in some state tournaments again. They've been applying for them and getting them to come back to Faribault. It's been a few years. We had a couple of years off with them, and you don't get assigned those types of tournaments if you don't have nice facilities. And so by watching those facilities come back, and even Corky's tournament down in Owatonna comes up and puts about about half of their tournament up into Faribault now, and so that's really we're pretty excited about that's able to happen with our facilities out here, because our staff takes a lot of pride in maintaining those facilities.
The new concession building, very nice added amenity. It was long in the making, I know that.
It was long in the making, but yep, it's wonderful to have right there, right by the fields. I know that has also helped the softball association with their concession sales. It was a lot better to be around 3 main fields than where they were kind of off by themselves by a single field, and you had to walk all the way across the complex to get to it. So this has actually helped their sales on top of being a really nice facility and being able to eliminate portable toilets out there. So that's another nice amenity with that building being out there.
Yeah, people do prefer not to use those.
If you can. I mean, they're a necessity, but it's certainly is nice to have a building that works well. So it was well put together and well done. So we're excited for that.
Yeah, a lot of people in the park. The only thing I noticed is the message board there between Diamonds, well, wherever the message
4 and
board
5,
is,
5 and 6
needs probably to be repaired. But other than that,
Yep. And that just happens every so often. They just wear out. So on that particular board, we just moved it, is what we did a year ago here now. So yeah, we'll have to take a look at some of those and see where those are all at and upgrade where we need to upgrade with them.
you know what I was thinking while I was driving out there for the Laker game on Saturday? It would be really cool, and I realize this would be an expense. Maybe the community could have a fundraiser of some sort to have some sort of digital signage before you get into the fairgrounds saying, what's happening in the park, schedule of sorts.
Yep, that was a conversation. There's a group that's assigned by the city council called the Alexander Park Committee, and we haven't talked about it recently, but a few years back we talked about that coming off of 20th Street or Highway 3 and
Right.
having that for the entire park and being able to list all the upcoming activities. That way we'd be able to put the softball games and tournaments going on, the fair when it's there, there's a number of events that happen actually on the Rice County Fairgrounds that, if you're not part of, you may not realize all the things that are going on there. But all of our baseball and softball games, we get to the school season, you could put all of your football games and track meets and cross country meets and get all that on there as well too. So it is a conversation that probably needs to come back up. One of the reasons that the conversation stopped on that is, at the time, about 6-8 years ago when we were talking about that, you couldn't have signs like that in the community through the sign ordinances that were there. So a lot of those have now changed to the point that you can have them. Shortly after we started talking, that's when the high school signboard went in, and so some of those rules have now been relaxed. And so we do need to have those conversations again and take a look at that. And the primary groups with the North Alex are the county and the city, and then the school district are the primary. And then we always have, because they're in the complex there, we always have the BMX people part of that. We always have the adult softball people part of that. The hockey people are invited, because they've always got things going on as well too, and we want people to know what's going on in the park.
Yeah, it could be a joint venture.
You bet.
All those
You
entities you just mentioned.
have everybody work together and put a sign up there. One of the issues that we did have, you have a lot of, if you look at that entrance coming in, it sits really low. So we'd have to really build that up to hardly even be able to see it. It sits probably 10-15 feet below street level is where
That's
that
true.
corner, that particular corner of the park is at. So
Because that's probably where you would want it, although the other side, I guess it wouldn't be outlandish.
yeah, on Second Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work too, for that. Probably Second Avenue would probably probably be more local people using the park and knowing what's going on, and if you want to be able to direct people off of the highways and stuff, for a lot of our visitors are coming in off the interstates, probably would come up through Highway 3. So that'd be something that could be certainly talked about. Nothing was ever set in stone on that. So.
Not this past weekend, but the weekend before, there was a Mexican rodeo out there, and my word, I couldn't believe the traffic.
Yeah, there were a lot of people out there. I talked to John Dvorak, who's the Rice County with the Rice County Fair, and he said great crowd. He said, and I know we got a couple of calls that there was a little bit traffic and a little bit messy done, but that was left primarily because we had severe weather coming in, and the group that rented came back and cleaned everything up for Monday afternoon. He was really pleased with how everything worked out and stuff with them. But yeah, I drove by that particular event too, and there were thousands and thousands of people out there. When I went by, the grandstands were packed from the bottom to the top, and they had bouncy houses out there, and the kids were bouncing around and having a good time, and it looked like a fun time.
Yeah, the Lakers were playing on that same day. I had to go all the way around to the other side to get in.
Good. It's good when the park gets that kind of use.
It was very nice to see. It really was.
The one thing with that, though, is it proves that as big as that park is, it still meets a lot of different needs. One big event goes on, and we can still have a lot of other stuff happening in the park at the same time, because the aquatic center would have still been open, the baseball game going on, so a lot of stuff still happening. And I'm sure we had picnics out there in the picnic shelters. There's always picnics on weekends.
So a very successful event, that Mexican rodeo.
I would say so from what I've heard.
Rice County Fair's next week out there at the fairgrounds.
Yep, the fairgrounds. They've got from the 21st to the 26th is the Rice County Fair. So
right.
If you go out there now, you're actually watching them fire up. They're getting their parking areas lined up, and they're going to put some additional signage up that we're working with them on to try and bring people off the trail so they can bring their bikes. They can actually ride out to the fair on their bikes, and they'll be able to park them out there and leave them. So they're firing up. It's going to be a busy place for the next week until everything gets ready to go.
And when is the pet parade?
The pet parade is on August 6th, and the theme for that this year is Into the Jungle. So I think there's a lot of options with that particular one there, but that's coming up a few more weeks out here, about 3 more weeks out. So we're getting close on that, and that's kind of for our department a lot of our wrap up of the year. We do that one, and then the concerts in the park go a few more weeks, but that kind of wraps up a lot of the summer activities for the Park and Rec department.
Where's the summer gone?
I know, it's been kind of a fast one here, so like they all are anymore.
Boy, that's for sure, Paul. The concerts in the park, I'm glad you brought that up too. I was at the first concert, and it really is a neat addition. These artists that are in the park and doing their artwork, and you actually get to see them in, when they're doing their artwork. I tried not to bother them while they're working.
And actually, they enjoy the conversation, so they encourage people to come over and ask them what they're up to and what they're drawing and how they do that. So that is the whole part of that, and that was a brainstorm of Jeff Jarvis, just trying to figure out a way to bring even more people to the concerts in the park, another whole arena of people that might come because they want to see how the artists are doing that. And what we were able, between Jeff and Joel Ron, they wrote a legacy grant this year, and so we were able to fund all that through the legacy grant that we've applied for. So that's really kind of an exciting thing for us, and he's got artists out there every week until the end of the concert season, which I believe is the 20th of August. We'll be wrapping up for the season out there then. So we're about halfway through probably on those concerts in the park, and should be good to see those wrap up and come out and watch artists in action.
And the different venues too, the different mediums that
Yep.
they use. They have watercolor and of course chalk.
The charcoal, they use a lot of charcoal, pencil. They've got just a variety of different, each artist brings their own specialty in, and it's just kind of fun to see the differences on that. And they've just been extremely excited about this opportunity to kind of show off. We all have art somewhere in our homes, hanging on a wall or somewhere, and we always see the finished product, and you got to see what goes into making those products happen, and that's kind of the exciting part with having the artists out there.
Yeah, I wish I would have been given that talent, but the good Lord decided to give that to somebody else.
Yeah, same with me.
When I was in high school, I had a couple of drawings I got in the art show, but that was about it.
Yep. So kind of even going with the concerts in the park, we do have, last week we had a movie after the concert in the park, and I'm not sure which exactly movie that was, but we have another movie coming up on July 30th. Big Hero 6 will be after the concert in the park. And we have two more, or movies in the park, excuse me, the movie in the park after the concert. We have two more movies in the park at the Aquatic Center on July 17th, so that would be this week. Lilo and Stitch is going to be out there, and then on August 14th, Finding Nemo will be out at the Aquatic Center again. So a couple of crowd favorites when we get to getting to watch movies, and it's kind of a fun thing to do is go out and sit in the park and watch on a large screen and just enjoy yourselves out there.
For those of us that remember drive-ins.
That's true. You know, it's similar to the drive-in. You go out there and just have fun. The Aquatic Center ones, we do open up the pool at 8 o'clock, so you can swim for about an hour or so. Maybe by the August 14th, it'll be getting dark earlier, and they can start a little bit earlier, but they have some free open swim time prior to the movie, so you can come out and enjoy the Aquatic Center a little bit with that also there.
One of the guests I was planning on, or trying to have on the show today, before we were able to hook up with you, Paul, regularly exercises in the water exercises class down at the rec center, and that's why he couldn't be here today.
Okay, good.
He probably is just now ending up with that.
Yep. Now we've got a number of exercise classes. We have 3 back-to-back water exercise classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it's just good when we get, you know, a nice steady crowd that comes in for those. And there's a lot of people. You know, if you've debated whether or not you should come and try it, the first time is free. So come down. And just even watch if you don't want to participate, but come down and see how many people are in the class, because as much exercise as they get out of it, it's also a very social time for the people that are down there. They have a great time down there. We have Tuesday, Thursday classes, we have afternoon classes, we have evening classes, so lots of water exercise. And if you're into more of a high intensity, we actually do water Zumba on Saturday mornings, and that one will actually be out at the Aquatic Center. So we've got lots and lots of variety with the different water fitness classes. We've got the fitness room, lots of yoga and Pilates type classes. So come and check us out as well too.
And there's been a lot of research on it. It's easier on your joints.
Yep. Yeah. You don't have all that gravity when you're in the pool, so you just keep your limbs below the water level and go at it. We've got and depending on which type of class you want to do, we do have the shallow water classes, and we've also got deep water where you can wear, we've got exercise belts that you wear. They're similar to a life jacket, but they're not a certified life jacket. They're just water exercise, which will help you with buoyancy. It'll keep you up at the surface. So those are well used during all of our deep water exercise classes. In fact, everybody wears them for that.
It's something we should probably all think about doing.
Yep. Yep. We should all go out. We should all be probably getting more exercise. I doubt many of us get enough exercise. We could all do just a little bit more with that.
Well, the gentleman I'm talking about is probably 80 years old, maybe even a little older than that, in phenomenal shape, and obviously because they've been exercising their whole life.
Been exercising, keep going, and our age range is wide. We've got people probably in their 40s and 50s in the early day classes, and up into their 80s and 90s, and then some of the classes when we do the afternoon and the evening, we probably have people in their 20s and older going to those, but you know, some of those people are working during the daytime and not able to make the weekday morning classes. So those are going well for us. So
fantastic. By the way, not to change subjects again, we talked about the pet parade.
Yep.
Same route.
Yep. We're going to start up on come down 2nd Avenue. They start up at McKinley, so I believe that's 9th Street, and come down 2nd Avenue until they get to 5th Street. And then they'll turn there and come back into the park. So it's a good evening event, good band in the park when they get done, and it's just they have all kinds of fun activities to do once you get to the park. So
usually have treats when it's over.
Treats when they get done. Yep. It's really kind of a fun, exciting deal. And if the weather is perfect, we get a very, very large crowd that comes, and we just encourage people to, after the parade, walk on down to the park and enjoy the festivities going on in the park as well.
It's a terrific tradition.
Oh, it really is. And I don't know if I have the number here, but we're pushing the high 70s or low 80s in the number of pet parades, consecutive pet parades we've run. So a lot of pet parades out there.
Oldest in the state, I think.
I believe that's what I've heard as well too. So
I mean, you don't hear of a lot of pet parades.
No, there's not a lot of them anymore. I think at one point there were a number of them, but Don't hear about a lot of them anymore, so not sure if everybody's kind of dropped them along the wayside or what's happened with them, but ours is still goes strong every year.
And I have to tell you, Paul, my favorite mural in town is the one on the Central Park bandshell that depicts the pet parade.
The pet parade, yep, and that's why they picked that location, because it wraps up in the park there, and it is it's very nice to be recognized that way, to have that on the building, because people do come to town and search out where the different murals are at. We got a couple at the community center just a week or so ago, and they wanted a list of where all the murals were at, because they were going to try and bring them back to their community. So they were going to go and take pictures of them and try and encourage their communities to start putting murals up around town. So, you know, we've got what, 5 or 6 of them around town now. So, you know, very nice little add to the community.
I've always said they ought to put one on the side of this building with the legendary Dean Curtis on it.
You're gonna have to go out and do some promotion, get them tied into that.
It's just an idea that I've always thought would be kind of cool. Big KDHL microphone. We got the picture of, you know, Give 'em Hell Harry.
Yep.
At the KDHL microphone on the back of the train when they were doing the, you know, across the country political speeches back in 1948. That's when KDHL went on the airwaves. And in our front lobby, for those of you who haven't been here, we have a blown up picture of Harry Truman. He's standing on the back, and that's a caboose with a curtain drawn there, and they fashioned a microphone stand off a record player on the podium. It's pretty cool.
Yep, very cool, very cool.
So that's something that maybe could be on the mural too.
Yep, sounds like a good idea to me.
Bit of incredible history that was right here in Faribault.
And that's one thing with all the murals. All the murals have depicted Faribault history, so they've been a neat thing to see them pop up around town.
So he was here. I remember reading or hearing that Dwight D. Eisenhower made a stop in Northfield, and that's the last time that Carleton College's football stadium was packed.
Okay. Interesting.
Just a little bit of history.
You know, and speaking of history,
why are you saying this?
And speaking of history, let me throw a program we've got coming up. Something new that Jeff Jarvis has come up with. He's doing a cultural camp coming up here in August, and they're going to talk about the Wapakuta Indians as part of that camp. So they're going to be studying those for a couple of days that week and teaching hopefully a lot of youngsters about some of the history of Faribault through the cultural camp there.
And that'll be at Wapakuta Park.
You know, I believe it is. So I'm not, there's been some conversation, you know, I better not say that because I'm not positive. It might be out of the Historical Society as well too.
I was just guessing.
But check the Buckham Bulletin, and it'll have the actual location of where the camp is going to be. But it is going to be discussing primarily the Wapakuta Indians through their time in the Faribault area here. So
fantastic.
Should be pretty good at
that. Keep that learning going in summer.
Yep. Yeah, we've got a couple of those learning opportunities. We've got a digital painting class. Again, it's one that I believe Jeff is teaching, this particular one, using iPads or tablets to do drawings and stuff on them. You load a specific program on there, and he's done some really cool artwork and stuff with it, and people started asking him how they do it, so decided to offer a class to make that happen. And he's got some painting classes. There's an oil pastel class. That's actually this week up at Washington, so Jeff will be working with that on there too. So a lot of fun classes still to come with that. Our new trail system that went in it through North Alexander Park, we've still got a couple of more promotional programs to go with that. We did one in early July or maybe late June called Pedal to the Pool, and we've got 2 more of those opportunities. We start on the very southwest corner of town, get onto the trail system down there at Spring Park, and ride the entire trail system, go all the way out to the Aquatic Center, and if you ride the trail system with us, we'll give you a free pool pass. You can either use it that day or anytime later this summer. And if you ride all 3 of those Pedal to the Pools, which you had to be in the first one already, but the depot was giving free meals for kids if they rode that 3 times. So that was kind of a fun tie-in with the community to keep that going as well too. So the next 2 Pedal to Pools, one's on July 24th and one is on August 25th. So a couple more of those coming up, and that should be some fun time to do. Go out and just kind of experiment with the trail, see where the trail goes here for now. Take the run of basically the whole length of the community on that, so you can get around pretty well on that now.
Fantastic.
So we've also got a couple more fun centers coming up. Fun centers over at Jefferson. If you drive by there, now it's in the morning or in the afternoon. They've got we added mornings this year, and you'll see a lot of kids running around playing games, having fun. The old park programs, and we do it at Jefferson there. So lots of fun stuff going on there, and we have another session that starts up on July 20th and runs through the 30th, so a couple of weeks there of that going on. And again, great program. And then, like we mentioned, the pet parade, there's always the getting your floats ready the week prior to pet parade and stuff like that out there. So starting this week, if you've got little kids, we have our spirit team practices start, and they actually wrap up with the pet parade too. They do their final performance at pet parade, and they get a chance to not just march down the street, but they also get to do a performance. The band will stop and let them perform out in front of the band shell prior to that, or at the event there. So that's kind of fun for them as well too. And a final reminder is fall programs aren't that far away. Our Cub football program actually starts on August 10th, similar to back to school football for the high schools and stuff. We get started that early with it and have their training dates and breakdown dates, and then they start dividing them into teams, and they're off and running just like the high school sports programs are. So here we are, what are we, the 12th, 13th of July, and we turn around and we've got football playing in a month. So that's when you know that fall is on its way. Lots of fun stuff out there. So
summer is just too short, Paul. It's too short.
It really is. You know, I when I talk with our park superintendent and some of our park staff, we go out there and we're spending all of our time getting facilities ready, people to use them about the time we enjoy them, and we're only a couple of weeks away from shutting them down for the year. And it's too bad that we don't get to enjoy them more of the year, but that's kind of the way the climate is here in Minnesota. So we get out there and get them going and keep them as nice as we can, and then we turn around and spend a month shutting them all down again and getting them ready for the next year.
And by the way, just a reminder, folks, disc golf is available at Wapakuta, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's been really successful up there at Wapakuta. It's, you know, we've got a 9-hole course up there, and people come from all over. It's not a straight course. You got to go up and down the hills, yep. And there's some challenges to it. I mean, the advantage is we had a very avid disc golf player from the Metro come down and helped us get that course put in when we put it in, and it's probably been in at least 10 years now. So we've had it for quite a while, and it gets a lot of use. You can see a lot of wear and tear on the lawn up there where that is at. It's in our plans. We just haven't gotten to it yet, but we do want to put in some concrete tees out there that would save a little bit of the wear and tear out there. But you know, the disc golf, huge program up there at Wapakuta.
Thanks, Paul, for coming in.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Paul Podolsky on our AM Minnesota program today. Tomorrow it's Fair Talk. Jerry will be visiting with John Dvorak and probably a guest from the Rice County Fair. You're in tune to KDHLA.